Hi everybody and welcome to another episode with the Anxious Resistance. Today I'm talking about a medication called Escitalopram, otherwise known as things called Cipralex or Lexapro, among others. It is an antidepressant of the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor class. It's used mainly to treat anxiety and depression, but it can also be used off-label to treat other things such as neuropathic pain, even OCD, these kinds of conditions. Common side effects of Lexapro include trouble sleeping, nausea, sexual problems, and feeling tired. There are some more serious side effects of Lexapro, and these include increasing suicidal ideation, worsening depression, and it's also unclear if using Lexapro during pregnancy is safe, so it's something that most of the time cannot be taken during pregnancy as there are some unclear risks. Lexapro or Escitalopram was approved for medical use in the United States in 2002. It is sometimes replaced by twice the dose of citalopram. So Lexapro, Escitalopram, is related to Celexa or citalopram. In fact, Lexapro is a more refined version of Celexa. Why Lexapro is used very often, and Lexapro is prescribed very often these days, is because it is kind of that more pure antidepressant. It is more selective for that serotonin transporter, and thus it has less side effects. So it doesn't mess with other receptors in the brain like some of these other SSRIs do. In a sense, it's a cleaner drug. It's more specific for an antidepressant activity. And that's why it's prescribed really often. But it does have some side effects as listed above, and some of them can be kind of serious. So Lexapro carries a black box warning for increasing suicidal thoughts or suicidal behaviors or worsening depression. What Lexapro does is it increases intrasynaptic levels of the neurotransmitter serotonin. So between the synapses in the brain, it increases that level of serotonin so you feel better. It's basically that concentration of chemicals between your neurons that kind of determines how you feel. And what Lexapro does is it keeps those chemicals from being taken back up into the synapse and thus allows them to stay in that in-between place. We call it the synaptic cleft. As it stays in that space, it allows you to feel better and relieve symptoms of anxiety, depression, and even other things. Okay, so Lexapro can take 1 to 2 weeks before any effects are felt. So those of you that have just started it or are only a week in, you may not feel any effects yet. So you need to be patient with these kind of medications. They take time, and they also have a fairly wide range of dosages. It can, if you don't feel any better on the low dose, which is usually where you start, then your prescriber can raise you up to the next level dose. So SSRIs like Lexapro are among the first line treatments for anxiety and for depression. And so you'll see these prescribed a lot, and a lot of people will be on these, a lot of people will try them. It actually was the first SSRI that I was prescribed, and my experience with it was not great. I had been on Lexapro for, I think it was about 3-4 weeks before I started feeling really, really depressed. I started feeling suicidal, and it was all I could think about. It was a scary thing for me. I actually was a teenager at the time. I was just 18. It scared me because I felt so out of control, and it really did change my thoughts and how I felt, which is a scary thing to think about, that something can do that to you. So my experience was poor with Lexapro. Everybody's different. Everybody's brain chemistry is different. So to say my experience will be yours is just not true. So this is a great medication. It is one that a lot of people find is very helpful and good for them, and it does have that low side effect profile because, as I discussed before, it's a more pure SSRI, meaning it's more specific and more pure to that serotonin transporter, so you don't get it acting on other receptors. So, but there is that potential for it to make things worse, and there's the potential for those side effects. And with all antidepressants, it may not work for you. You may need to try a different one. Everybody's brain chemistry is different. But that was my experience with Lexapro. I do think it's a good drug. I see it prescribed a lot. As a nurse, I dispense this drug a lot in a psychiatric setting. So a lot of people find it useful and helpful. If you have any questions about Lexapro, please comment them down below. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to learn more about other medications, other treatments, and just inspiration for people going through mental health struggles. And thank you so much for watching.